Damn, MAGA moving out, y'all. MAGA is moving out. If y'all understand the reference, basically, there was a MAGA flag that was flying and shit proud as fuck in my neighborhood. I made a TikTok about it. Some people were like side-eyeing me, which I didn't understand. And then like literally like 4 months after Trump won the election, these bitches talking about we need to sell our house. Girl, how the man you put in office and promoting for free in front of your house got you having to sell that shit not even a year later? That's ghetto. And I laugh at it every fucking time because I'm petty. I don't care.
So what is the GOP's response to the pie-in-the-sky, commie gobbledygook that Zoran Mamdani is selling? Surely they have a better solution.
Here we go. The White House is floating this idea. Bill Pulte is saying, thanks to President Trump, we can indeed work on the 50-year mortgage, a complete...
Yes, even longer debt. That's what we got to do it. That's what I've been saying, dude. 50 years to lower your cost by $300 a month, but end up paying like $300,000 more a year.
Not lowering prices, not building more housing. No, just being a good little slave to the bank for 50 years. You might as well be a rentoid forever in this case. Like, at least you don't have to fix your own dishwasher. You
Just live with mom until she dies. Young people, you need a tip. You guys need a little bit of a tip for how to afford your house. Live with your mom and dad till they die. Guys, you got to just wait for your parents to die. Unfortunately for you, they got pensions working at fast food restaurants, so you're going to have to wait a while. You're going to work at a place that required a 25-year degree, and you're going to make a half of what they used to make working for fast food, and you won't get health insurance. So you actually they might actually outlast you, but isn't that every parent's dream?
This is Donald Trump's America. Everyone needs to see this video. A mother of two is begging for help as she cannot afford to feed her children and pay her mortgage off anymore. It's truly heartbreaking and shows the reality that millions of Americans are living in right now. As soon as the money hits their account, it's instantly gone.
We are a family of 4. We have 2 kids. How are y'all surviving? Because I'm not. I got paid today, and it's gone. Goes toward the mortgage, cell phone bill, gas and electric, garbage, everything, gone.
The worst part is she works 40 hours a week, her husband works 50 hours a week, and they still can't even afford basic necessities. She says each month they have to decide between a grocery trip or paying the mortgage because they can't do both. Here's a powerful quote from her saying, "The people that don't have kids are barely surviving. I am not surviving. Your money is gone. There's nothing you can do. You just have to ride on this floating rock and spend." This right here is a very important part of what she said. Unless you're a rich elite, you're effed, and she's absolutely right. She then goes on to say that everybody needs to unite because it's very important we all speak out against this corruption. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's only going to get worse under Donald Trump's leadership. Everything that he does is focused around helping the elites and hurting the rest of us. That is his entire playbook. Here's a very simple analogy. Donald Trump is a billionaire, an elitist. Imagine he's on the red team. And imagine the blue team is the rest of America, the 99%, the working class. Why would anybody that's on the red team help the blue team out in any capacity? Obviously, he's going to help out himself and his team at the expense of us.
Existing housing, people that own their homes, we're going to keep them wealthy. We're going to keep those prices up. We're not going to destroy the value of their homes so that somebody that didn't work very hard can buy a home. We're going to make it easier to buy. We're going to get interest rates down. But I want to protect the people that for the first time in their lives feel good about themselves. They feel like that they're wealthy people. And I want them to understand it. There's so much talk about, we're going to drive housing prices down. I don't want to drive housing prices down. I want to drive housing prices up for people that own their homes. And they can be assured that's what's going to happen.
Imagine working your entire life and you still need 50 years just to pay off the house. That is not a dream, that is a warning. Right now, housing isn't just expensive, it's become unreachable. And the system is just quiet people into a lifetime of paying with no escape. Before we continue, I want to give credit to all original creator of TikTok clips used in this video. All clips belong to the respective creator and are used here for commentary, news report, and education purpose.
I struggle every day, and now I'm taking care of my mom who's older, being denied simple things like breathing meds. So gas, what are you gonna do? So I don't eat this week, because I have to take mom to the doctors tomorrow.
If you could pick one word to describe the economy, your economic situation right now under these conditions, one word to describe that.
Desolate.
So Donald Trump's out here saying we can't afford universal daycare. That should be paid for by the states. The states should handle that. We can't afford Medicare. We can't afford Medicaid. We can't afford all of these things because we got to keep spending money on the war. The 1 point something trillion dollars we give the military a year, It's not enough. He wants 1.5 trillion every year for just the military. And in order to get there, he's going to have to cut some stuff like the forestry department and Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, things that actually help the average American. Because $1 trillion a year is not enough for him. Even though $1 trillion a year is enough money to end world hunger over 10 times. Just completely end world hunger. But no, we got to have 1.5 trillion for the military. And to get to his 1.5 trillion, he's going to cut everything that helps the average American. Why? Because he doesn't give a flying fuck about the average American. He gives a fuck about his friends who have defense contracts who are all making tons of money every time he opens his fucking mouth and they're able to manipulate the stock market.
So Trump just revealed his latest genius idea to us, and it might be his worst one yet. Just take a look. On his Truth Social account, he posted a picture of FDR beside of himself, announcing that he's going to implement 50-year mortgages. Stretching mortgages to 50 years is not innovative or heroic. It is a massive warning sign. If this gets implemented somehow, we will see a massive housing market crash, and working Americans will be trapped in mortgages for most of their lives. Extending mortgages to 50 years does not magically solve housing costs. It just makes your monthly payments appear like they're smaller while skyrocketing total interest and debt. You can't fix affordability by stretching debt across half of a century. What he's really doing is telling Americans, sorry guys, you're never going to be able to afford a home normally, so here's a lifelong mortgage. This policy does absolutely nothing to address the actual issues: housing supply, price manipulation, corporate mega landlords, and investor hoarding. I promise, BlackRock is not going to magically become less predatory because a loan lasts 50 years. This plan doesn't fight Wall Street by any means. It's quite the opposite. It bails them out by ensuring that average people will stay in debt or renters forever.
People have jobs and they do not have housing. People have cars and they cannot afford gas. Americans who receive paychecks have to decide whether they can afford to pay their bills or buy groceries. And the rich are going on mission trips to supposedly help the people that they voted to keep in suffering. All of this under an administration that claims to be pro-life. 42 million people having their food benefits disrupted is not pro-life. 10 million people not being able to obtain health care is not pro-life. Thousands of people being assaulted and kidnapped by ICE agents is not pro-life. The Epstein files are not pro-life. This administration is not pro-life.
I looked into MAGA to try and figure out where they're coming from, since most people I know come from MAGA households. And honestly, it sounds good on the surface. But once you actually fact check it, let's just say the flag starts looking a little faded. First, let's talk about immigration and the border. MAGA says we're being invaded. Build a wall. Protect American jobs and safety. But here's the thing. Most undocumented immigrants don't even sneak across the border. They come legally and overstay visas. And study after study show that immigrants commit less crime than US-born citizens. Now let's talk economy and trade. MAGA says Trump's tax cuts helped the economy and tariffs helped get jobs back. But reality says the 2017 tax cuts mostly helped billionaires and added trillions to the deficit. And those tariffs, they tanked US farms and raised prices at Walmart. So if your groceries cost more, think the trade wars. Moving on to energy and climate. MAGA says, drill baby drill, energy independence. But the US was already the top oil and gas producer. Like, we didn't need more drilling. Meanwhile, renewable energy is cheaper, growing faster, and creating new jobs. On to culture wars. MAGA says, we're protecting kids from woke indoctrination. We're pro-life. We're protecting the Second Amendment. Overturning Roe v. Wade took away rights the majority of Americans actually support. And most people, even people who own guns, want basic gun safety laws. So whose freedom are they really protecting? And last, let's talk about foreign policy and America first. MAGA says, why pay for NATO or Ukraine? Let's stop endless wars. America first. Sounds nice until you realize NATO keeps us out of wars by having allies. Pulling back leaves power vacuums for Russia and China. America first kinda turns into America alone. So yeah, on the surface, MAGA seems patriotic and simple. But dig a little deeper and the policies either don't add up, or they actually hurt the people they're promising to help. If you're gonna say America first, maybe start with the truth first.
I'm worried. And I'm asking myself, how it take a half century to own a home? Then let us be honest. That is not ownership. That is a modern day survival debit. So the real question is this: how do we afford a house? It's why we are being forced to sacrifice our entire life just to have a one. Why? Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new here, please can consider subscribe, like, share, and if you're returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate. See you in the next episode.